Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight, our first video back in our own home. I know it's been a while. I was at my sister's for over a week and a half and it's nice to be home and relaxing. Though, I'll be honest, having to tear everything out of the house and take to my sister's and then tear everything out of my sister's and bring back here and set everything back up was a nightmare that I don't anticipate having to redo anytime in the near future. So, good news is, we're back. We got some things to talk about, too. First of all, for those of you who, like me, like the Xbox myself, I'm an Xbox guy, have been since I decided that PS3 took way too long to come out. That's what initially drove me to Xbox, and I've enjoyed Xbox ever since. The Xbox Series X has been announced. Now, it's a new console. It's the next generation of Xbox console coming out, and according to them, holiday season 2020. Now, I'm assuming that means November 2020, so we'll see how that pans out. But I'm going to try to make sure that I pick it up as quickly as possible, preferably on launch. So I'm going to make sure I save up some money, get that thing pre-ordered so we can get that on the channel. Because, I mean, let's be real. One of the main driving factors behind my channel, other than my just fantastic personality that everybody knows and loves, you know, totally not lying there. But other than that, has been the fact that I have been one of the only, if not the only, YouTuber on Xbox that is able to put out 4K videos every day. That is a huge, huge deal. Quality is a huge deal. And with the new console comes the potential for first of all, true 4K 60 gameplay. Now, you know, sure, my videos show up as 4K 60, but the actual gameplay is only 4K 30 and can actually be a little less than that on World of Warships running the performance or the high graphic mode option. But they do look so good. And that Tirpitz just took a torpedo. Now this game's going to be a little bit slow to build up. It's been a minute since we had the battleships on the channel, and I wanted to get back in, and what better way to get back into some battleships than to show the Iowa, which we all know and love. Now, first things first, this is a map that I am unfamiliar with. I've only played this a couple of times, so I'm playing pretty passively early in this match, just due to the fact that I want to know what's going on, what the enemy is doing, and not putting myself in a bad position, because this map isn't very big, and if you choose a side early, you put yourself in position to get absolutely obliterated early in the match. And that is something I am desperately trying to avoid, because it has happened multiple times to me on this map. So as you can see, I have not even moved. I haven't reversed. I haven't gone forward. I am just sitting exactly where I spawned using the Iowa's superior reach. And in this case, I mean, the guys are 12 to 17 kilometers. Any battleship has this kind of range at Tier 7. So you're really not having to struggle to find good shots. And this Colorado's giving me a good chance to get some nice penetrations. But when this is where you've got to know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and utilize that to the best of your abilities. Now, we're not going to stay here forever. You'll see later on, as we start to get into a little bit more of a chaos mode, that I take charge of the situation and I decide to clear one side and then come back. And that's where you're going to get to see some more of this. Now, I do make some mistakes in here, and I'm going to try to point those out. First of all, notice the nice battleship ahead of us that's going to try to take some torpedoes and die, and then those other torpedoes look suspiciously like they are heading in my direction. So, rather than waiting for them to come, I know it's from a Lightning, I know they are stacked on top of each other, and I know they were intended for me all along, and the Bismarck just happened to catch them. But, because he caught the one and died, we were able to hold your breath, suck it in, thank you. We were able to just barely get out of the way of every last one of those, knowing the Iowa's ridiculously bad at eating torpedoes. We didn't want to catch any. Now, I'm trying to keep an eye on both sides of my spawn here. This is something that has gotten me into trouble multiple times in the past. Because what happens when you're in the center of the map like this, even if you're... Oh, hello, Mogami. How are you? You're going kind of slow, so I'm not going to give you quite the normal lead that I would for a cruiser. And I think I still led you just a hair too much. And we did, in fact, overpenetrate one round through the bow. But you'll see that I am starting to realize that while I am able to shoot at people here, this is not the best place for me. But now that all of those battleships have changed where they are, I can safely turn and engage one side of the map. And I choose this side because it seems to have the weaker enemies that I can potentially get rid of in a hurry. Like this Atlanta. How you doing, Atlanta? It was nice of you to just kind of angle for me right there. I appreciate that as somebody who has hit Atlantis for next to nothing multiple times because of over-penetrations. It was nice to see that Citadel hit in multiple penetrations. I do like that. The good news is, I don't care what you do at this point because you did. There is no way that you're going to get away from these while reversing. And all I got to do is hit you, and I will kill you. And down you go. 3 overpins, because that's how it normally ends. But, you know, it's an Atlanta. He didn't have any health left, and we finished him off. Now, here's mistake number 1. And you're going to be like, Spartan, how's this a mistake? You're going to shoot at a Vanguard? Look at the destroyer that's spotted to my left with this New Orleans that is pushing over towards him. I am taking a shot at a broadside battleship, which is a good thing. I'm also giving my broadside to that battleship. He doesn't shoot at me. We get a nice Citadel and took half of his health in the first salvo. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that was a pretty good trade. However, this poor New Orleans, regardless of what just happened, I don't know who's winning the fight as far as those two go, but he doesn't have any health left. And that's not going to end well for him. And the Lightning is doing a very, very good job of keeping out of my fire angle. I can't shoot him. He's hiding behind an island. I call this keep away. That's the game he's playing. He's playing keep away. He gets in a position to defend himself from me while taking out a low health enemy. And that is one of the mistakes that I make right there. Not finishing or attempting to finish that Lightning off is going to inevitably be the demise, possibly, of this game. Now, we are losing the match handily at the moment, but this Bismarck's low health, that's a good change. If we can pull it off, we should be able to help turn the tide for the team. Now, up to this point, we've been effective, but we have not really gotten too involved in the overall politics of the match. This is our first real, denial. And, of course, we get the Citadel on the Bismarck to finish him off because he had no health left. Isn't that how that works? We've got the Vanguard over here still. We have a destroyer to my right that is hiding behind an island at the moment, currently playing keep away once again. But I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I am going to turn to engage the destroyer. It's going to be a minute before I can actually shoot him. He's going to use the island once again to stay away from me. But we are going to get another shot off on this Vanguard. Now, watch my 6 o'clock on the map. Watch the rear of my ship when I'm firing at this Vanguard, and I once again Citadel the Vanguard, who is just staying broadside on forever, and he's not doing himself any favors. Maybe he thought with the buff that he'll be okay. Now, right here, I have to make a decision. The Benson is low health. The guy that was in front of me was unable to finish him off. And instead of being able to shoot at the Lightning that is behind me, clearly heading straight for our base, I make the decision to keep pushing. And that's going to cause me, yes, I am in a position to take down this Vanguard, potentially, if we get a good hit. Once again, we do, and we take off the majority of his health from there. Now, the Lightning fired a bunch of torpedoes in our direction. We are able to avoid those using the island to my right. But, because we didn't engage that Lightning, he is now in our base and he is capping. And we take a nasty hit from a Vanguard, but in the end, it's not of consequence. He's going to be dead. And he knows it. He's got 2 battleships firing at him. He has very little health left. We do finish him off, finishing with our 4th kill of the game. Now, we have brought this back. It is now a 3v2. We both have a destroyer, and we both have battleships, except we have 2 of them. They only have 1. Now, their Tirpitz is their battleship, and then they have the Lightning. The Lightning is in the base, and that forces my hand. I have no choice. I have to try to get to the base. Now, remember, normally the Iowa is capable of 30 knots, but because of my specific build from my captain, I lose that top speed. And this thing is only capable of pulling 26 knots, I think, top speed now. And that is going to be cutting it way too close for my comfort. Now, these torpedoes were never intended to hit. They were just kind of thrown out here as a deterrence. But as you can see with this Lightning, he's making the turn, and watch this placement. I'm sorry. I am very good at figuring out exactly where I need to aim, and that was beautiful. We hit 1 hit, yes, but just the fact that we hit him at 13.5 kilometers while he's adjusting his movement, that's pretty good predictability. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn too much. But unfortunately, our Kagero was unable to finish him off, and that leaves me and the guy behind me to take on a Tirpitz and a Lightning. And the Lightning has a huge advantage that he is forcing me to come to him, and that is leaving me broadside on to the Tirpitz. Now, you know my opinion of the German battleships, especially at any sort of range. We're at 14.5 kilometers, closing pretty quick. But I don't really give them the benefit of the doubt in any sort of range to be able to inflict consistent damage, and that's pretty good proof of it right there. Most of the shots that they shoot are just going to miss. Now, that shot being able to just bounce off of them at this range, a little bit suspect. I'd have to see exactly where those shells landed to bounce off of a Tirpitz at 14 kilometers. But I kind of feel a little let down by RNG there. Now, there is, you know, German engineering coming back to haunt me, because, yes, I'm giving him too much side because I am pushing up on this Lightning, who is still trying to throw torps in my direction to kind of push me away. And you can see with that last salvo, and here I make a turn and I just avoid that torpedo. Almost turned right into it. I have to give this guy some angle, because if I don't, the Iowa will come back and bite me. It is known that the Iowa is extremely weak in the side armor. But even small angles, like this isn't the best angle, obviously, but even angling it slightly can significantly change how much penetrations the enemies are able to get. Now, he starts firing at my other teammate, which is preferable for me because I was broadside on. And now that he's firing at him, I don't have to be broadside, or I don't have to worry about giving the broadside. I can get all 9 guns on target and just absolutely paddle him. But he returns the favor in short order. And once again, we have a whole mess of torpedoes coming in a way that only the British torpedoes can. Slow and in a line. Luckily, we had already slowed down and started turning towards the angry smokescreen. This is all the things that you have to deal with when you're in these situations, trying to clutch a match. And oh my god, here we go. Hello, sunshine. This is death. You have got to be kidding me. How? How did we manage to fed up? Come on. Spartan, you should have had high explosive and another torpedo dodge. You're welcome. Thank God these are British torpedoes and they're slow as crap. Compared to, say, American and Japanese, who are moving at like 65 knots or more. But then he just disappears forever, and I have no choice. I have to try to get rid of the guy who is behind me. I try to look, and sure enough, he's giving me way too much angle. And so I make the decision, go ahead, get him off the board. I get the rear gun on him first. He gets a nice, good hit. We've set a fire with our secondaries. This is just a testament to why more is not always better. Sometimes quality is better, and the American secondaries just seem to be more accurate than the Germans. However, we take down our 5th kill, and we are trying to turn this behemoth. Please turn this behemoth. You know there are more torpedoes on the way. We have done everything in our power. Please, God, turn this thing. And it's just too late. A 900-foot long ship, and we got torpedoes approaching from both sides as the Tirpitz launched his as well. But we battled our backsides off. We tried. We gave our team the best chance possible. 160,000 damage. Kraken unleashed. Top of the leaderboard. Not bad. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.